No countdown, no nothing, man. We are just live up in this piece. What's the deal, my people? You know who it is. It's Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you. Another one. This is Constellation. Episode 1, 2, 3. Call in, live stream, breakdown. You're going to call me up. We're going to talk about this. I told y'all that this show was going to be good. Hopefully, a lot of y'all listen to me and watch the show. Let me make sure that my microphone is the proper microphone it's supposed to be. Mic check. Yes, it is. All right, so that's good. You know, hopefully everybody listen to the Don. I told you it was going to be good. Hopefully, we'll see how many people watch. But let me say what up to Lisa and Cannoli. He says, "Hey Tony, hi everyone. Super happy to be watching this stream with you. Super happy to have you. Then my man KP is in the building, rocking with us right now. Muhammad, my brother from another mother, is up in here. TN says Jesus is here. Was T interested?" I wasn't. I think that's what he wasn't interested in this till Tony said something about it, and Tony mentioned it. It must be good. You know, I do my best. You know, sometimes I've messed up. I ain't gonna lie, but sometimes the Don gets it right, and I think I got it right with this show right here. I think this show is great. At least the first 3 episodes. Number one, the acting in these things is phenomenal. All of these actors, even the little girls who are twins, right? So we have 2 twins playing the lead, playing Alice. In case you wouldn't know that, there are 2 twins playing Alice, and both, even little girls, both of them, they do their things. Lead actress is amazing. I mean, everyone in here, right? We all know that their style, how they get down, and everything else, and doing a great job. Dude from Breaking Bad is up in here doing a great job. And this is really the biggest thing that I've seen him in since Breaking Bad. You know, so. No, everyone, the acting is still. I could see this if it continues being nominated for some type of award. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done, all of them. You know what I mean? And they deserve it. Let's go. We got some people. 2 Grown For Yous up in the building. Channel member. Thank you so much for being a channel member. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Madakai 1 is in here. What's going on? Jesse is in here. Luna is rocking with us. Tony Constellation reminds me in some aspects of from. I believe so. I think we do have some from a crossover in here going on. I think that, there's a lot of things that I'm making a new video from because something in here inspired me to do it. I won't give it away, but watch for that video this week. It'll be here. Melissa B is in here. I'm trying to get into this after disappointment. The truth. This is much better. Don't let True Detective fool you in any way about what this show is. This show to me is 100% better. It's not even close. Is she dead? 2 Grown For You asked. Who are you talking about? The main character? Are we talking about Joe? Or are you asking me if Joe dead? If the question is about Joe, then no, Joe is not dead. Not at all. Not close. The guy just put out a video. If you watch the video I just put out, you will see I broke down exactly what's going on. As always, Thug Mug is in hand. And the thing is, so you come in here, and I'm glad you're here. You want to ask a question, feel free to call in. Numbers down here on the crawl right there. 518-290-0848. Call in. Let me know how you're feeling and everything else. You know what I mean? But definitely call me in. Call me up. Call me in. I'm already in this motherfucker. Call me up. What's in the Thug Mug tonight? The Thug Mug is zero carb beer in this thing right now. That's what we're rocking in there. Zero carb. KP says, I felt like I got in on this early. You did. I hit you up. I had to hit my brother up and tell him straight up what's going on. Carl Snarf is in the building. Carl Snarf. A little Thundercats reference going on there from Sonic Your Boy and everything else. I think everyone's saying, all right, so let's break it down. So right when the beginning, the thing that I think we have to realize is that there's Joe 1. And then we're going to say Joe 1 and we're going to say Joe 2. We'll say Alice 1 and we'll say Alice 2. That's the easiest way to, say who's different in this show. right? So Joe 1 is our main character in the show. That's who we're supposed to be dealing with. Joe 1 is the person who is married, her family, she loves her family, she's with her family. We feel the issues, guys, in the building. He'll be here in 1 second. So until Phil gets here, we won't go into everything like that and everything else. We'll wait for Phil to get it so we can just do it once. Golden Child's in the building, rocking with us. You know, one of my favorite movies is The Golden Child by Eddie Murphy. I ain't gonna lie, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Have the knife.
I'm not saying that's what you're referencing in your name, but I think when that came out and I was a child, I think I went to see that movie 15 times in the movie theater. I loved that Filipino looking woman in there. That like I loved her when I was a child. That was my peoples right there. Let's go. Side of your boys is Golden Child. It is a classic and everything else. But we're going to try. Jen Hack is in the building, rocking with us right now. Jen said, however, just rewatched Constellation when it started. Hey, you all the way from Australia. Thank you so much. Oi to you, Jen Hack. We usually get 2 Australians in the building. Yeah. So when dealing with Constellation, again, we must start off knowing that there are 2 of each character. If there's more, I haven't caught it, but there's 2. Just like when we deal with Bud. What's the guy's name? Henry? Is it Henry?
Henry and Bud.
I think it's Henry. When you deal with Bud, right? Bud, there's 2 Buds. And it's funny when you look at the lead actor, right? And you ask and you look up IDMB, it says he's playing Bud. It doesn't say he's playing Henry. Like it doesn't have his name listed for that as it listed for this. You good, Phil? All right. Bring your cell phone on here.
I was can you hear me?
Hear you. Is that me? Is that my fault?
It might be you.
Let me see. It could be my fault.
Can everyone hear me in the chat? Let me know. I was screaming, I got the knife while you were talking.
Yep, it's my fault. 1 second.
No worries.
There you go.
Hey. So it's probably better you couldn't hear me because while you were talking about the Golden Child, I was screaming, well, I got the knife. You know.
Please.
Yeah, please, my dear sweet brother Numsy. It's so amazing that eventually ended up being Tywin. But yeah, the bunch of interesting things in this series, and I don't know what you've talked about.
We're just starting right off the beginning.
And I might need to duck out because I have to go watch a far worse series and talk about it later tonight with The Walking Dead. But I do wanted to make sure I came out here and talk to you about this a little bit because I definitely really love this series. Even the subtlety with the 2 different types of characters. And let's get to Mike Ehrmantraut here, Bud and Henry. Mm-hmm. Do you think Bud and Henry are actually split? Like they're the 2-dimensional versions of Henry or Bud, and they just came back, and the other woman, the woman he ended up having the romantic relationship at the end of episode 3, they both got doubled on that weird space mission that happened years earlier?
See, now you're making me think of something else because now it could be 3 now, all right? Because we have Bud and you have Henry. That's 2, right? So so Henry is the one who's running mission control, right? He's the one doing that. And then we have the Russian lady who was the astronaut there running it with him, basically the Russian side.
Yep.
Now, Bud is having an affair with this lady, right, on the boat and everything else. He's having an affair with her, but doesn't say if she's running NASA or anything like that. But then you also got the version of her that got killed in the beginning and got thrown into the ship. Yep. That was her body that was found in the ship. At least that was my theory that I came up with, that it's her body in there that's got thrown up in the ship. So that's 3 versions of that Russian chick that we're seeing. So I don't know if there's 3 versions of Henry. So we might be dealing with 3. But for right now, we're just going to stick with the 2. Because it's easier. But it does seem like there's 3 versions of that lady.
And I love how Bud threw that dude off the cruise ship at the end of the episode, at the end of episode 3. I must say, I definitely enjoyed all 3 episodes, but episode 3 was the best of it. I feel like the first 2, a lot of times in these newer series, the first 2 episodes are just kind of building the story. I feel like our story really kind of started in episode 3 where we started to get into the whole program. There's so many interesting things happening, like the subtlety of the different characters. I don't know if you if you put much weight into the fact that one little girl calls her mom, the other one she refers to her as mummy. It's different. Like in the specific situations, one has a slight little scar, the other one doesn't have a slight little scar. There's all these little touches that I didn't really notice till like I listened to you break it apart and kind of dug in again and watched for a second time through. There's all these little bits that are showing you the separations and the differences between the two dimensions or two whatever.
Yeah, because when Joe 2 holds all right, both Joes, when you see them hold the tablet, they hold the tablet differently. Yep. Right? When you look at the tab, one holds it vertically and the other one holds it horizontally. All right. I think it's Joe 1, the first version of Joe that we see. And that in the first version of Joe, I say Joe 1 is the one who is with her family. Her family loves her. Her daughter likes her more than likes the husband. And she's with that. She's a happily married woman. Joe 2 is the one having the affair with the guy and left the husband. And then left the husband, and the daughter's mad at her for leaving her. The daughter calls her a doofus for dropping the glass. Yeah. We are with Joe 1 mostly than Joe 2. We don't really see a lot of Joe 2 after Joe 1 comes into the world of Joe 2.
Wait, I just had a weird thought, and a lot of this is just going to be flying at the screen until we sort of get into specifics. But the body that got thrown at one of the two Joes, was that the second version of the Russian?
That was the third version of her.
Third version of the Russian. Okay.
That's the third one, because that's the one we haven't seen. Right. We have the two versions. The one with Buzz is dying of cancer. And then the other one, from what we know, just doesn't have cancer, or just haven't gotten everything else right now. Luna's like, who's on first? It is confusing. I have to say it. But the version of Joe that we see in the house, that's Joe 1 in the beginning, right? Because the daughter asked to hear the story, and the story is the astronaut story. When she goes into the shed, that vial turns on and it switches Alice 1 with Alice 2, and Alice 2 says, tell me the story about the it was Hansel and Gretel, right? She didn't ask for the space story, she asked for the Hansel and Gretel story. And that's why when they go off into looking for Alice 1, she starts laying a trail of beads down, like the story of Hansel and Gretel. which is I'm sure it's a true girl for you, so it's confusing. But that is what's going on and everything else.
And I think it's intentionally confusing. And it's sort of doing the shell game with you, sleight of hand, that with the characters. They don't want you to be 100% sure unless you're paying extra special attention. All the subtle differences in the characters. They kind of, I think they want to confuse you at this point, or at least make you guess whether it's real or not, and by throwing in theoretically real twins with Bud and Henry in there too. And I got to applaud a couple of things in this series. First of all, the cinematography and the way the series just looks in general, visual effects on it is beautiful. Apple Plus continues to destroy it. Also, just the acting is wonderful. I got to say this about Jonathan Banks, Mike Ehrmantraut there. You know who is Bud and who is Henry, and they don't dress them up. They don't do the Star Trek thing where they give one of them a goatee or something. They basically look exactly the same, and you can tell just from the body language and the way he talks what the situation is. I don't know if you can hear that, Tony, but I think you have a phone call.
Is that for me?
I think so, yeah.
No. Let me see.
Call from.
Hello.
Can't hear Liz.
Hello.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Did you hear someone talking?
I can hear it. I think it's KP.
You can hear him talking?
I can hear, the voice, the answer machine voice thing, if...
Why can't I hear it? I think let me see if I can. There must be something going on here where I can't hear it. I can't hear him. Must be something. Let me see.
Someone says it's KP's butt. Do not accept it.
Let me see why.
I don't know. Third base. I don't know. Why center field? I like it better than the change.
All right, I know why. I gotta fix this to this. Okay, there we go.
I also
All right.
like it better than Silo and
Call
stuff.
from.
Yeah, it was me. I have some.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on, KP? Sorry about that.
I'm good. We figured out the technical difficulties, so
Yes,
I'm
sir.
I'm on. So I'm sure everybody's happy to hear that I'm here. But Tony, we have a problem.
Okay.
I'm going to jump right into it because I'm going to assume that people know what the fuck is going on. So we have this one problem. So I know you just said there might be 3 worlds. I think that's wrong.
Not Will, the woman, the Russian lady.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there might be 2 worlds, not 2 worlds. So like, which would have 3 women, 3 Russian chicks in it. What is that woman's name again? Because I'm going to be saying her name a lot, and I don't want to just call her a Russian chick. Do you remember her name?
I would need. Is Irina?
I'll do some character stuff. Let me.
Irina. Let's call her Irina. That might not be her name, but let's just
something
call
with
her.
an I. It's like Irina or something like that.
So Irina, remember when Narrator Pace's character came back, and Irina was having like a hearing where she was saying to Irina that, yo, you say you saw a dead body, but like it's not a dead body. And then somebody jumped on and was like, you think it could be a garbage bag? You think it probably be a garbage bag?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, motherfucker, I would know if I saw a garbage bag. Do you remember that whole scene? So Irene was talking about a dead body. So if Irene is alive to talk about her own dead body, then that dead body can't be Irene, or that person who's talking can't be Irene.
If it's a third Irene, then it is. If it's an Irene who actually, because you gotta remember now, you gotta look at the body.
Yeah, but then
the body was
still mean the body.
They said
it would still mean the body can't be Irene.
It has to be.
Because Irene is talking about that body.
Yeah,
so,
but if it's
so the body can't be Irene.
All right, if it's a third Irene, it's a different one that went out there and died in space and then floated out there. Because remember, she said that the body was fossilized when she got to the body.
But it's been out there. There's a fundamental problem. Let me try to be really clear. There's a fundamental problem. If Irene exists in World War, and in World War, Irene is talking to somebody about a possible dead Irene that they saw, they would have had to see that dead Irene in another time and then bring that thought into this time where a dead Irene doesn't exist. But the way that Irene is talking, she knows that somebody died out there. So like, having her talk about her dead body makes it that it can't be her that's the dead body in any world.
So it's a logic problem. I hear what you're saying. I don't hear her talking about her being dead, right? I'm saying that when you looked at the astronaut, right? When they showed the uniform this astronaut was in, number one, we know it's a woman. Let's go with that. It's a woman, right? When they show Irene, when they show the cosmonaut, when they show Irene in her office, she has a picture of herself directly behind her in the exact same outfit, right? Right behind the desk. They didn't put that there for no reason. And again, when she pulls up on the phone and she goes, this is what the person was wearing when they crashed into her, they say to her, that's Irene in that photo that you're showing. So they're referencing two different times that Irene was inside of that suit. So that has to be Irene.
You see, but we get into the time logic problem. Even if that's Irene in the suit, it can't be Irene talking about her. Like, that can't be possible. The only way it could be possible is if the Narrator Pace character went into a third timeline where Irene is dead and saw Irene and then came back to her previous timeline and is now having that discussion with her Irene who is not dead. But if that Irene is not dead, then that Irene cannot be talking about a dead body being on the ship in a way to make us believe that the dead body is for sure there because we think the lady does protest too much. even to the point where, like, when she went to see Bud, and she was like, why y'all so hung up on, like, whether or not there was a dead astronaut? If there was a dead cosmonaut, there was a dead cosmonaut. Like, why is that something that you guys just can't allow to be the truth? So he's suggesting that, oh, there's definitely a dead cosmonaut, and she definitely knows about how that dead cosmonaut got there. And the only way that could happen is if that dead cosmonaut died in another timeline where Irene no longer could be alive to have any kind of vice relationship with Bud or anybody else, because she's dead, and she wouldn't be able to be there in that hearing talking about a dead body that is supposed to be her, but it's actually her in another timeline, but she can't know about that time because she didn't go to that other time. You see the problem?
I hear what you're saying.
Like, I thought about it a lot.
I hear what you're saying. But I'm telling you, Kay, it's definitely her in that body. There's no doubt about it. Now,
I agree. I agree. So that's why I'm confused, right? Because I agree, it has to be her. That's what they're suggesting.
It's her.
But like, either they're selling a cheap product and they're giving us this really cheap.
Let me just break it down like this. They are saying that she dies in her lifetime. She's going to die one way. They showed her die. They said that she's going to die of cancer, right? That's how she's going to die. And the one with Buzz is that's a different timeline, right? So when she's with Bud, she's going to die of cancer. He visioned her basically as a corpse that looked like
correct, yeah.
That looked like an astronaut.
And it was the same dead body that they saw. Like we saw a flash of in that scene.
Yeah, so
they are heavily giving the idea that it has to be agreed. But you see where the logic of it is. Like, I've thought about this. I spent way too much time thinking about this. You see where the logic kind of falls down, and it's either they have this really methodically planned to slot into this very tight space where it's possible to have an Irene that's alive talking to a Joanna that also is alive, that saw Irene from a third timeline where Irene would have already been dead, to come back and tell us about it. But then why does Irene know about herself dying in another timeline to be able to talk about it to the point where even Bud is like, why are you so mad about like her saying that there's a dead body? If there's no dead body.
Bud's not saying that. He's not in that timeline when they're talking about the dead body. He's not. When Bud's timeline, he's on the boat at a convention, at an astronaut convention. Yeah. So he's not on. Right. He's not in the NASA thing. But Buck.
No, in the same scene. So like in the same scene where Bud and Irene meeting, they're meeting on the boat they're meeting in a room. I don't know if it's the boat or somewhere else. They're meeting somewhere for their first, and it's the first time we realize for a fact that they have some sort of thing going on. And she knocks on the door, and he comes to the door. Mm-hmm. She's on the phone or something like that, but as she comes to the door and they talk to one another, the conversation goes off to like, why, to Bud or Henry telling her, why are you guys so happy on the fact that there's no dead body?
All right, so
if there's no dead body, because they actually a dead body then?
Yeah, but what they're talking about is his mission. When he went on the mission,
No. They're talking about the hearing. Watch it over. That's episode 3. I watched the episode like a bunch of times. They're talking. She's coming from that hearing. And that is the time when Numi Rapace's character says, you know what? Like, you're right. It was probably a trash bag. I ain't see nothing. Let's move on. And she's like, so you're pledging here that you didn't see nothing. You're retracting that statement. She's like, yeah. And then the next scene is that same Irene lady going to meet with Bud, and Bud asked something about, like, why in the hearing today were you guys so happy on the fact that there's no dead body? And she was like, because there's no dead body. And he was like, well, then why is so? So he was gesturing. The writers kind of give you the idea that we think the lady does protest too much. So to make you, so you're left to believe that Irene has to know about this dead body, like about the truth about this dead body. But if she does, then the body can't be her. Like,
well,
do you remember that scene?
I will say this: Bud knows about his counterpart. He blames his counterpart for the accident that he got into. How does Bud know about his counterpart? That's him, right? He says it. He says it on there.
No, because that happened in the past.
He blames.
That happened in the past. He'd still be alive to remember what happened in the past.
No, he's talking. He says specifically. He says the name. I mean, I don't know if I keep getting it confused. A Harry, a Henry, whatever he is in the other thing. I think it's Harry. Is it Harry?
When he says that Henry fixed all the stuff in the station,
Henry. Yeah,
and I blacked out.
And he said,
right.
He blames
correct.
Henry.
You're 100% correct.
So how does he know about Henry in the universe?
You see, he doesn't. He knows that he blacked out, and there was footage of him exiting the craft. So he knows it had to be, and his first memory is him exiting the craft, so it already landing at Earth. So like, if they were dead and I'm here, that means I would have had to fix all the stuff on this thing by myself, and I don't know how to do that. But Henry, my Bud in the other dimension, apparently can't do it, and they swap places. How? Why? Who made the decision? Hey, let's swap places together. I don't know, but like we see that swapping places with Numira Case's character all the time. Like,
right.
Where she's doing something,
right.
And then she switches, and all of a sudden she has like extra knowledge.
Right.
All of a sudden she's extra nice to her daughter, or she's extra nice to her husband, or whatever. You know, like I'm probably complicating this thing.
All right.
But,
I'm gonna ask you if you could please call back. We're gonna get to some other callers.
Yeah.
And we'll talk. All right.
I didn't even want to call this early, bro. I didn't want to call this early, but like that was dick. It was itching at me. You know what I mean? Like there's a piece of this that needs to be figured out. Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna watch y'all on TV.
All right.
And I'll probably call back later. But like, yeah, let's. Does anybody else think that way? You know, that there's a piece of logic here that is just kind of sticking out, and somebody has to deal with it. Anyways, y'all be good. Where did that?
All right. That's KP. KP in the bill. Luna is Tony with an I is for girls. That's not. Thank you for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. But Tony with an I is, how do you spell it for a girl? And a dime is not a girl. You gotta put the Y in there. At least every girl I know who spells her name Tony spells it with an I.
Because it's Antonia, I believe.
Yeah. But that's a great KP, and I think he makes good points.
Yeah.
But I do think 100% that dead person who hit the ship is Irene, if that's her name. What do you think, Phil?
I think it seemed to be. There's no reason that up until this point that we assume that Joe is necessarily a unreliable narrator, because we're seeing things from her perspective, and it did look like a human, and it kind of makes sense in that situation. I don't know, just to kind of not to go too far down the rabbit hole with what KP was saying, but I guess two things could simultaneously exist in multiple dimensions at the same time. But there could be some other things afoot in here, like time travel, like wormhole mechanics or something. I'm going pretty far out there, but after only 3 episodes right now, and it seems like a well-textured thing, I don't think things are not going to get more clear before things are going to get more confusing before they get more clear.
Yeah, and this is supposedly season 1. This is not just a one-off. This is a season 1.
This isn't Netflix. This is Apple. They're going to keep this thing going.
Yeah, this is a season 1. So, and it's supposedly going to keep going on. So you're going to get some answers to some questions. Not every answer. They're going to answer some more stuff. But I think that the guy said it when he sat there and he's talking to Alice. He said, a piece of matter can exist in both places at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And it's not until someone looks at it that it turns what color it wants to be, right? So the matter could be one wants to be black, one wants to be white. It's both at the same time. And then when somebody looks at it, when someone looks at it, that is when it becomes, it chooses a color. Just like the Schrodinger's cat, that is what Luna is talking about. Schrodinger's cat is a cat that is placed inside of a box with some poison. The box is covered up and closed up, and you don't know whether the cat's alive or dead. It's actually both. It's alive and it's dead, and it's not until you open it up that it picks and it chooses exactly what it is. So I think it's that situation that we get the explanation for that's going on with this Irene. But we know Irene's death comes. Like, she's dying in every one of these things. She's dying maybe a different way. One time it's going to be cancer. One time she died while being a cosmonaut. And the other Irene that we see is going to die a different way. But we don't know exactly how that way is going to be. So I hope that answers. I hope that answers Luna's question. I tried to answer it for her and everything else.
And it does make sense that, I don't know, there could also be, as I said, some time travel thing going on here, and then some sort
it could be dealing with time travel. Also, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, that's the whole thing. And again, when you look at Alice, and it's not by coincidence that she has a pet rabbit, Alice, right? And if you look at you could tell whose rabbit is who, because one rabbit is white and one rabbit is gray. And you could see it that way too, and who stomps the rabbit into the dirty pile? Because supposedly it was supposed to be like that black girl who did it. But if you look at the genes, I don't think that was the black girl's genes that stomped it. And then she's like, you can't step on my rabbit. Why would you do that? And then when she gets the rabbit back, she sees the rabbit's, there's nothing wrong with the rabbit at all. So who came in there right then and stomped the rabbit in the puddle of mud? Who did that? Let's go. Let me take Heroes Gaming's question. He says, there's one thing I noticed in the first episode when the scientist guy, Bud or Henry, is talking to the black scientist as he's walking by. In the picture, it's another version of himself. Of Bud? Or Henry?
Okay. Henry is the this is my baby, I'm never going to
So if you're talking about to the scientist, Henry's the only one who talks to the scientist.
Bud is the guy on the ship that threw the moon landing denier guy off the ship.
Yes, that's Bud. He's going to conventions, and he doesn't work for NASA or anything. He's just going to conventions.
You know what the minor thing I really love about the series, Tony, is that in so many things when they display the space program in movies, and I know this isn't a hard rule, it's always so shiny, happy, focuses on, you don't really get weird intrigue and stuff in there often. And even with sci-fi, it's usually separated, in the future, a Star Trek or something. I like how this is kind of dealing with, it's a different kind of sci-fi where it's dealing with real worlds. You kind of see alternative perspectives. That scene where Bud is dealing with that guy and Bud's a lot of those scenes have been funny. That's where some of the comedy comes through Bud, and how he's just maybe not meant for the world he's in, so he's losing his mind slowly. So definitely interesting stuff with the Bud and Henry thing.
Yeah, and Hero Games is that example of two matters existing. I would say it definitely is, because when you see her get off the ship, and it's Joe 1 when they show her get off the ship, that's Joe 1, and she's sitting down there, Joe 1, but she's in the world of Joe 2, right?
Yeah.
When she's getting off the ship, it's Joe 1 who's been switched to the world of Joe 2. And remember, Joe 2 was the one who had the affair and everything else and all that, but she gets switched into that world. When she gets switched into that world and she's coming home, it says it takes two people to release it, and it gets released. And she was just sitting inside. So someone had to release it. And then you see her looking back at the ship, and you can faintly see the outline of a silhouette of someone looking at her. Now, that could have been the black dude that got switched over to, or it could have been a version of herself. But someone flipped that switch so she can detach that escape pod.
Now, Tony, I just have switch of subjects, but just kind of a generalized question about what is causing this. Is that substance that Henry is obsessed with? Is that what's causing this whole break?
Yes, that's what did it. Whatever that piece of matter was, is what's broke the broke the dimension.
Yes, broke the space-time continuum
Yeah,
or whatever.
It leaked dimensions into each other.
Ooh, that sounds gross. Dimensions leaking everywhere. I like myself, but I don't want to do any leaking with my interdimensional self. It's so yeah. So theoretically, this is just a working when Henry and the original space program was up there doing a moon landing situation or doing something on the moon. They discovered this weird element, this matter, whatever it is, that somehow in that moment split the dimensions, and then there was a crossover where everything got doubled up, and then there was some mix-ups where people kept bouncing dimensions, and that's what started it, and was theoretically, and again, I'm just Henry, it was so hard pressed on this mission because he's trying to get things to set straight again, or maybe get another person.
He says to her when he's talking to Irene, he's like, I have to do this. I need this for my brother.
Right. So
what he said. So it has somehow impacted his brother. But when he talked about Bud, and she brings up the fact of his brother to Bud, Bud's like he hasn't spoken to his brother in years, and he's happy not to speak to him.
Maybe he wants to get Bud back to his world because there's a timetable on this that if they don't get back to their dimension will implode or something. So he's trying to help Bud to get back to reset this thing and set things right. I don't know. I'm just throwing crap on the wall at this point.
Fernandez C, thank you for the super chat. Says Teflon TV. So do you think they changed dimensions due to being in space and the solar flare happening? What caused it? It was that machine. When he ran that test, that's when everything turns white. And then that's when the lady gets sucked from her dimension into the ship, hits the ship, and then her body, because she's already dead, right? She's already dead when she gets sucked in there. And then she's stuck in the ship. They go out there, find her and everything else. So it was definitely because the same thing happened in the beginning when she goes out to the shed and she goes and she looks at the device. Mm-hmm. You can see it turn blue. And then after it turns blue, her daughter was watching the video. Then she comes back and her daughter's in bed. And then she hears her other daughter calling for her.
Now, Tony, I get another question to throw at you. What caused the body to get fired at the ship in that moment while they were doing the experiment? You know, in the did some force of anything, or is that just bad luck that they happened to be attacked at the time that they started the experiment? Or did somebody, some overseer, someone watching them set that into motion in that moment? That's just a question. Like, it seems awfully coincidental with the timeline thing that right when they started the experiment, the body flew through, or whatever it was that flew through and sort of caused the
it's the body. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly why that body got stuck there, but it got stuck.
Was it there. Irene that caused that? Knew the moment it would happen, or something?
No. It was just that thing. No one knew that was going to happen. It just happened. It shut everything down because and that was it. They were just doing the test of the thing.
But it's weird timing that it happened to do that right when the test started.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I just
right when he fired the test up.
Right. It immediately
that body got sucked from this universe into the right there.
Okay, so then it was like right bam.
Yes. It got sucked in and then boom, hit the ship and got stuck in the ship right then.
I want some eggs now, Jesse.
That. But yeah, you could look at the rabbits. The rabbits are two different colors. So that's how you can also tell what's going on with their let's see, Heroes Game said there's going to be a season episode where they're going to go be back in time with Bud, Irene, some other people where the matter is discovered and put some of these. They're gonna put some of these pieces. They're not gonna listen. It's just gonna be, if you watch the end of Severance, it'll be like an ending like that, like a really satisfying ending, but you can still go on with the show.
I feel, Tony, that's an excellent point. And I feel like Severance should be the prototype for these mystery box series on how to end a season, give you answers while still leaving crumbs open for the next season. A lot of shows could learn from what Severance did in that first season, I think.
100%. Listen, this show is on the level of Severance. Like when you look at the acting and everything else, it's there. I mean, This is a show that you have to pay attention every second of the show, or you're gonna miss something.
That's why I wasn't ready as soon as we probably would have done this earlier, but Tony needed to wait for me to catch up to watch the episodes, and I couldn't watch more than one episode in a day. I had to watch one episode, kind of take it in, then watch the next episode. If I tried to binge them, my brain sort of got scattered. This is one of those shows that I feel like really benefits from a weekly watch and kind of really sinking into each episode to watch everything that's happening going around it.
Yeah, that's why when I put the review out, I gotta watch it like twice to get the review ready, because I don't get it all the first time. I take the notes and I go back, and then I take those areas, and I gotta watch it at least one more time. I get that review out there and stuff and everything. But
I noticed as I was starting 3, you were already into like episode 2 again at that point, because I saw.
Yeah, I had to rewatch, because episode 2, a lot goes down inside episode 2, and all that. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like that one astronaut lady who she was.
Oh, the one that's like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, we all have families. He's like, oh, you should stay. You have a family. We all got families.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like part of the team, No,
not at all. She definitely wanted to get off that ship as fast as possible. As fast as possible. She's like, I gotta get out of here and everything. So yeah, you have that situation. But still, again, you can call in if you have something to say. You know the number. It's on the crow. We love to hear if you don't let KP just be the only one. Don't just be the only. Get your point out there. Say what you want. We got almost 50 people in here watching on the day one show. That's very good. 518-290-0848. Call the Don Tony Teflon Fill the Issues guy. Ask us a question or put it out there what you want.
Yeah, I don't know how many answers I'm going to be giving, but I'd definitely love to hear your questions because it might help me think a little bit more. You also talked about the acting from basic level, as we were mentioning earlier. The acting from beginning to end on this show, I think, has been great. Even the kid actor, the girl, yes. And I'm very hard on kid actors. I know it seems like an asshole move, but like if you're going to put a kid in your show and give them a lot of work, they better be able to pull off the material. And she's pulling off the drama and the intensity. And as I was saying earlier with the mom and the mummy thing and the scars, she is a big decider of being able to tell what dimension, what's going on in the moment. It's like, watch that. She's going to be a big answer to a lot of this.
Yeah. Way. And listen, the scents, the smells that she got, like she could smell her daughter. She knows that that's not her daughter because she doesn't.
Thank you for saying that, Tony. That has to come back or mean something essentially, right? The fact that she keeps mentioning, I think 4 or 5 times, Earth has a certain smell, right? Isn't that one statement is very important that she keeps saying that enough. And actually, I believe it was either Irene or Mike's character when she was saying it in one of the public situations that kind of got a weird look, like she understood what she meant about you're in the wrong Earth. What you really mean is Earth doesn't quite smell the same to you. It smells a little different because it doesn't smell like your Earth. I think that's going to be something as we go through that we can figure out where we are depending on every Earth has a different smell.
Yeah, 100%. Every Earth has a different smell. She says because she's in space, I guess there's no weather. There's no weather in space. There's no nothing in space. So I guess there's no sense. There's no scent out there in space. It's the space. Well, I've heard that space. I heard people say it smells like burnt toast. That's what I heard astronauts say before, that space smells like burnt toast.
Now you're making me hungry. I also liked, just to talk about a specific scene, I love the scene that we saw in, I think it was episode 1 or maybe episode 2, where she's out on the space station, episode 1, and they see the sun coming up. You're going to be in darkness for X amount of hours and then seeing the sun. That kind of stuff, just being as a kid that grew up with being into space nut type of stuff, it's just cool to see that kind of stuff of thinking, oh, space is dark. Oh, but no, when the sun comes around, when you're in the orbit and you come around that thing, then you're in the bright lights, and just the way it's all communicating and all of that, I thought is just done really well and really credible. The series feels like you're in a real world. It's so just again on Apple Plus. I wrote this to Tony in a message. Apple Plus is kind of on a stretch like HBO with The Sopranos, The Wire, and 6 Feet Under and Deadwood. I mean, not quite that far, but if they keep this up with Severance, this show, the Silo, the show with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, Shrinking, Foundation too. Yeah, like there's not everyone's for me. And I was saying this to you, even the show with Charlie Hunnam wasn't a show I liked, but the quality and the money and the time that they put into these productions are doing more for quality rather than pushing it out there. And I hope more people start watching Apple Plus. I know Ted, what do you call it? Got a lot of views, but I hope that more people. Ted Lasso, thank you. But I hope people watch this show because it has an audience out there that
someone asked earlier, so they just got Apple and they're looking for Jen Hack said they want to find another show. There's another show on there that I like a lot that's got a couple of seasons. It's what's it called? It's the lady from the black lady from she's a podcaster who solves murder mysteries.
I haven't watched that, but is it like Murderville or something?
No, I forgot the name of it now. It's like it's the name of it is her podcast. She's the one from like the movie like The Help, and she's the one who put the doo-doo in the pie and baked it and let them eat. Truth
Luna
be told,
says
Luna.
Truth be told, yeah.
Yes, truth be told, that's the one I would suggest watching. It's not as deep as a show like this, but it's a good show.
And obviously Severance, if you haven't watched Severance, that'd be first off.
Yeah, Severance is I don't know if you could digest both of these type shows together. I would put something like Truth Be Told in between.
The thing about Severance, and I don't want to go too far down this road, we'll save this for a Severance podcast in the future, but Severance is an attack, and I mean this a good way, on all your senses. It's visually, the way it's so bright. They even give you a warning before each episode. You may cause seizures for some people. So Severance is definitely an experience. Shrinking, as I mentioned, with if you're a Harrison Ford fan, it's one of the best things I think he's done in years, and you get to see more of his curmudgeonness. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, The Last Times of Ptolemy Gray with Samuel Jackson. That's a one season spinoff. That was a good show. That is a good show. That's a good show. Listen, Apple does a great job. All right, and Apple, I think, is the leading sci-fi network by far. I think they have the best sci-fi shows at any network, and I don't think it's close. I think they found their niche with sci-fi shows. But going back to this show and going through some of the things that we've seen in here, the father, played a great role of being shocked that this woman likes him. He's like, you're looking at me. And he goes, why are you looking at me like that? He's I'm looking at you like what? She goes, like you actually like me.
Yeah. You're being too nice. Do I seem different?
Because he knows she's fucking that curly hair guy. I don't know his name, but she knows
Daniel, I think maybe. But
yeah, and then the guy's about to cry, and he goes, "Oh, don't you cry." He's like, "Don't you cry on me, boy. I don't want to hear this shit that you're about to cry right now, right? After you've been training her for 4 years now, right? You've been training her for 4 years. What she really meant, like, you've been fucking her for 4 years, motherfucker. Right? 4 years. You've been doing it. Don't give me this bullshit. And everything. Yeah, and Alice 2, that's what Alice 2 is a dick. It's weird because Alice 2 is a dick to Joe 1, but when she's inside of the cabin with her, she's not as dickish to her there. She's all right. When Alice 2 is there in the cabin, but this is weird now, all right? Because at some point, Joe 1 is going to be reunited with Alice 1.
Yeah, they make sure they do that in the first episode where they dial back time and they show you the two of them together.
So at some point they're going to be together. When they run off together, they're going to switch places, Alice 1 and 2, and Joe 1's going to get her daughter in the messed up timeline. Her daughter's going to come over there, and then she's going to take off with her daughter. She's going to somehow, I guess. So what I think is going to have to happen this year is that somehow she's going to realize that device is how to bring people over, and she's going to bring her daughter over using that device. And then that's when she steals it. She brings her daughter over, and then she escapes with the device and tries to hide out with it to try to figure everything out. But while she's hiding out in that cabin, the device goes off again, and then it switches her daughter again.
Henry is not going to like that.
No, he's going to chase her down.
Henry's going to turn into our villain at some point. Henry is not a good person. I think they're already giving us major signs that Henry is not a good person and he's a selfish fucker, and some bad stuff's going to happen with Henry at some point in time.
And so is Bud.
Yeah, but the Bud's already killed somebody. I mean, like, Bud, we're like, he might do something bad. He threw that dude off the post.
Yeah, how does he get out of that situation? Like,
especially because his friends saw him come up to him.
Come in and say, "I need to speak to you. Come with me."
Tony, could you pull that off? You threw me off I pissed you off. You throw me off the boat. You come back. He slipped.
I mean, if there's no witnesses.
It's true.
That's really, what can they say? If they don't have the body, I mean, the body's gonna be beat up because it hit the side of the thing. So it's not like you could say he didn't like kill him first and throw him over or bang him in the head. He just pushed him right over.
Yep.
It's the same thing. I mean, I've heard people say it, before. Hey, you want to kill your husband, you want to kill your wife, take him to like the Grand Canyon or somewhere no one's looking and push him off. They can't prove it. It's an unprovable crime and stuff like that. So it's a situation like that, but they're gonna know. They're gonna say, "Hey, this guy was last seen with you. Something's going on here."
And very fair, Hero Gaming. I know that is what they want us to think, but I don't. There's something about Mike I don't trust. But you could see they did also show that he was very sensitive and understanding. And I think Jonathan Banks just acts really well with children.
Does. He grabbed that ass on that woman, boy. When he was like, you don't really see that a lot, like on television shows when they get into these moments of passion. Usually they'll touch their hand on their hip or something like that. But John Banks, he put that hand right on that ass and cupped that ass like, yeah, let's go. I was like, that's what I would be doing, bro. And I like the fact that they're showing, older people have sex too and still feel sexy and still need to feel loved.
I hope so, Tony. I'm there. I hope so. I'm pretty much there. Luna, good question. What did Bud mean when he said he fixed the situation and went to space with the other two astronauts? For me, the international television meaning of fixed is killed people.
Well, that's what the guy was accusing him of. The guy was accusing him of murdering the other astronauts. And
I think he probably did. He was the way he reacted and the pissed off anger that he had, the reactions, he probably did kill those people. Yeah, because I guess he wanted to be the hero or something. But for whatever reason, they're saying that he killed them. And like the guy, the guy was debating him on the stage, debating him, saying that the stuff that you're saying just doesn't fit. It doesn't work, and everything else and all this stuff. So. Or maybe Henry did it too. He blames Henry. So what if? Oh yeah, he says my fucking or something like that. He does. He says it's Henry's fault. He said everything that happens is Henry's fault. Is he a split personality with this Henry? It's possible. You're gonna say or something. Go ahead. Or I was gonna say when they split from the dimensions at some point, they clashed and they just have a major disagreement about how to handle this particular situation. So they sort of abutted each other. I do think in a sense you're right about a split personality, but they're a split personality with two different dimensional versions of themselves. Or again, to go to a different meaning, what Heroes Gaming was saying, that's what they want us to think. Bud and Henry could be actually twins. They could be the one example where they're not both in a multi-dimensional, and those two could actually be twins. I'm not saying that he gets called Henry by the news reporter. Yep, and he's like, "I'm not Henry. I'm Bud. I'm a decorated motherfucker. I'm Bud." Yeah. He says straight up, but she says, "All right, Henry," and he goes, "I'm not Henry. I'm Bud." So is it a split personality with Henry and Bud going on there? I mean, it is two dimensions. No doubt about that. But is it also a split personality? That are they two dimensions, and in both dimensions they have a split personality of two people that they are? Yeah, it's interesting to this point. As we said, maybe were we through time traveling a little bit? Anything is possible at this point in the series.
Yeah, Edward Martin saying not twin, just different. But the thing is this: the reporter calls him by Henry, and then he says, "My name is Bud," but the reporter knew him as Henry at that time, unless he switched out somehow during the interview and went to a different dimension at the end of it, and then came back to his own reality that quick, which I don't see it going on and everything else. But you know what I mean? But he says specifically, "I'm not Henry, I'm Bud."
Yeah, exactly. Or again, the other situation could possibly be that they just have a big hardcore sibling rivalry of some sort, and Bud isn't as famous as Henry is because Henry still works in the industry, and Bud is stuck on the promotional tour, in retirement, sent out the pasture, going on these NASA cruise ship things and kissing people's butts and answering stupid questions. And that reporters are like, because when you're a twin, I'm not a twin particularly, but my cousins are twins, and they're not even identical. And there's people that just call them by their name. They go, "Hey, Craig, no, Alan, I'm sorry, well, whatever, So if they are twins, or they grew up, or even multi-dimension, and they've been through this, they could just hate each other because of always butting heads and always being confused for each other's.
Something's going on there. I mean, we need more episodes of it.
Yeah.
But there's something going on there without a shadow of a doubt. Because when you see Joe 1 and Henry comes over to her, she has no idea who he is.
Mm-mm.
Because Bud, she's from the dimension with Bud in them, Joe 1. She's one from that dimension with Bud in them. And Bud isn't involved in the NASA program, so she never met him. But when Henry comes over, he goes, "Oh, we met before." And she's like, "Okay," but she never met him. So that's how you know she's over there in that dimension with Bud. She's from the Bud dimension. The Bud dimension is Joe 1, and that's where the happy family is. Joe 2 is in the Henry dimension, where she had the affair with the curly hair guy.
Do you think from scene to scene they're intermixing the dimensional shifts, so we don't know technically where we're at in each scene as they're cutting around?
I think that they do. Yeah, when Alice was doing the hide and go seek, they were switching it around.
Yeah,
like we were switching it around, but she was able to see it in the other dimension, because in the other one the girl stomps the bunny. She's seen it, but in her dimension, the bunny didn't get stomped. And she just said, "Well, your mother said your mom's a crazy bitch. Well, your mom's a bitch too."
That was so real to kids. No, your mom's psychotic. She's psychotic.
You said, "What about Paul? Paul's dead." At least we know the Paul in Joe 2's world is dead.
Paul's dead for sure.
Yeah, but we don't know about we don't know about the other Paul.
Can two beings be in one dimension at the same time on the show? I mean,
I don't know. He says that a piece of matter can exist in the same space at the same time with two different colors.
And I mean, I guess the way that we see it, if we're to say that Bud and Henry are both in different situations, but there is some communication between the two of them, like they know each other. I just had an aha moment because I didn't get exactly what you were saying. We had Bud, when we're in that situation and he gets called Henry, it might not be that he's jealous of his brother and all that sort of stuff. It's that he's correcting him, like, "I'm in the wrong universe. It's Bud." Like, because in another universe, his name's Henry. His name is. He's the same being, but for some reason he got named something different. And we're going to find that Henry's middle name is Bud, and he goes by Bud in another situation or something.
But when you look up the credits, the acting credits, the actor's credit is roles playing as Bud.
Right. I'm on IMDb. He's only credited as one of the characters.
Yeah, he's only credited as Bud. He doesn't have both. It's not Bud / blah, blah, blah. It's just Bud. And that's it. And you see both actresses who play Alice. You got the two girls playing Alice. They're both up there and everything.
Are they twins?
Yeah, they're twins.
I didn't know it was two different people, but I guess that makes sense. Jonathan Banks. There we go.
Yeah, he's credited because that's the main timeline. Is the Bud timeline. The other timeline is the one they got thrusted in. That's the secondary timeline. But the main timeline is the Bud timeline. That's the Joe 1 timeline. The Happy Family timeline. That's that time. That's the main timeline. The fucked up one is the Joe 2 one, when she's fucking this dude and all that. That's the messed up one. And everything else. Bringing the chat mobile, gonna be diving and listening. I think thank you for all the support you always.
Yeah, Edward is the best, some of the most positive energy, and it's great to have you in there supporting all the creators that you do, Edward. A lot of people do, but I just want to give Edward some special love because he is one of the people that are always out there sharing stuff and putting it out there and responding and having fun and communicating.
Let me see if I can do something here real quick. Can I do this on I have to do it from my phone. Let me see. Let me pull up my phone. I'm gonna try something real quick. Even though I'm in a desperate situation in here, I'm still gonna. I'm thinking I'm gonna gift out some memberships.
Oh yeah.
That are here. Even though I shouldn't be spending any money right now, but we're gonna gift out some memberships for people coming out here and rocking with us and stuff. Because I truly appreciate it. 100%. So
Hero Gaming brings an interesting point to the table, Tony. I disagree. I think any timeline where someone is getting their cheeks clapped is a good timeline, Tony. There's no good and bad timelines here. If there's
I'm just saying one's the main timeline and one is not.
No, totally. Well, Luna says, I'm not going to even pretend to understand the plot, but I'm going to continue watching. Sounds really promising. I think that's the point, Luna, with these shows. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, is it entertaining? Is it fun to watch? I care about that more than I care about necessarily getting answers each episode to each episode. It's at the end of the series when it's all over, do I feel satisfied by the answers that they give me? And am I having fun watching episode to episode? That's what I care about in these kind of shows. That's why something like with From, like, I just enjoy watching the series and I'm trusting that they're going to have an answer at the end of it all. So I'm more forgiving at the end of individual seasons and episodes and giving us answers because I enjoy watching each episode to episode.
I can't find this thing. I can't.
I think you need to do it on the desktop in the live chat.
I'm trying to. It doesn't pop up.
If you go on the if you go on the price tag thing and then you go to gift, I think it just lets you do.
There's no price tag thing. It's just like
you might not be signed in on your own chat. Yeah, it's confusing until my episodes come. Exactly. Oh, yep. No, you're in there.
I'm in there. I can put myself in a timeout if I wanted to.
Well, I know. I think. Can I do it? Can I put you in timeout? I'm almost curious what would happen if I tried.
I'm trying. I don't know why. I'm gonna try to do it. Somehow I'm gonna do it right now. It won't pop up on my phone that I'm doing it live. For some reason, it's not showing me. I'm just have to go to regular YouTube and just Google Teflon TV. And then
when do they release each episode? I believe it's on Wednesdays here.
All right, here it is. All right. No need for you. Cat. All right. Memberships, gifting memberships. Jesus Christ, is that much? 50 memberships for $150? We could do this. Now, when you gift memberships, it's all random.
I believe so.
So all these memberships, whoever becomes a member, it's not on me. Let me see. I think my card is hooked up to this. Man, I don't have a MasterCard. Why did I say I got a MasterCard for? I don't have a MasterCard. This one.
Bloody says your insight got me to understand the show, and I think that's with shows like this. This is why these kind of things are really fun to do, because I'm not going to understand this show without talking to Tony, without listening to you guys in the live chat, and it's going to make it interesting. Now I'm looking forward to the episode even more to kind of see more of what we're talking about.
Did it work?
I don't see it in the chat right now. Free Your Mindset says, can you do top 5 80s shows or cartoon debates? Absolutely, Free Your Mindset. That sounds like some issues program stuff, but I'll try to get Tony over to do something like that.
I would love to do that, 100%. I'm just trying to see if this thing worked or not.
Take a picture of that so I remember it.
Try it again.
You're gonna look in your bank statement tomorrow. It's gonna be like $300
I put in there. For this. Let's see. Plenty in here. Terms and conditions.
Everyone's like, just save your money, Tony.
And what they say? It's not that it's not going through. It's not like allowing me, like it's not even showing like my credit card to do it. I don't understand it.
Hero Gaming says, I'm a bank
like
teller.
Allowing me. I don't know why. It's not popping up. And I agree to the term and service.
Oh, Luna did it for you. Luna just gifted 5 memberships.
Did she really? Well, thank you so much, Luna. I appreciate it. I don't know why it's not going from me. I don't know why. I don't know, but thank you so much, Luna, for gifting 5 memberships. It means we have 5 new members.
Oh wow! What's cool about that is who's ninjaing in the chat. We got Steph Snow, AK, who are both ninjaing in the chat right now, and we got Classic EverQuest, Mrs. T, wonderful Mrs. T, and Floody71 were all gifted memberships from.
See, mine doesn't show that. I can't see that. I can't see it. Thank you so much, but it does. So you watch it on your. Oh, all right. I can't see. I'm looking at the StreamYard one.
Yeah, you have to go. You have to actually open. Let me show you something. I can send you a link to it. Let me do that. If you can see in our private chat.
Oh, let me see. I don't even know that private chat. Oh, right here. All right. Yeah, I can't even see. What is this?
That is the pop-out chat from your live video. And if you like, that's where you get like the price thing. And if you click on that, you should get the 10 free.
Oh, all right. So let me say shout out to the new 5 new members. Who are they, Phil? Do you know?
Steph Snow, AK, Classic EverQuest, great game, Mrs. T, and Floody71.
And AK-47.
Yeah,
AK was just lurking in the chat.
Yeah, so I'm saying you get to see who's lurking. You get to see the ninja.
You get blown up trying to hide in there, and you get blown up. Now you remember.
Yeah, Steph Snow playing some PlayStation and having us on in the background right now.
Oh, that's what it is. That's where it goes. Terms apply. Oh, you have 10 memberships to give.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they give you every month that.
Oh, all right. I just gave some right now. Yeah. I'm over here spending money and I have to spend
That's what I was trying to tell you.
All right, there we go. So we got this game too. We got Sharita, just Rita is now a member of Teflon TV. Glenn Carter. I didn't see him. Yeah, I didn't see any of y'all in the chat talking, Glenn. Oh, this is how you find out who's just lurking.
Exactly.
Glenn Carter is in there. Quan is now in. Quiet on the set is now a member of Teflon TV. This is great. How do you just catch people? Just learn. You catch the lurkers who's there like, damn it, I'm a member now. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Even if you don't say anything, we appreciate you just watching everything else and all that stuff. So we got 10 new members. of Teflon TV. Truly appreciate it. Salute to all of y'all and everything else. This is a great show. I'm telling you, if you're just hanging out because of me and you never had a chance to watch the show, I'm telling you, you're missing out on this show 100%. Everything else. 100%. Constellation, Apple TV. I think it's going to win some awards, Phil. What about you? What do you think?
I hope so, especially in like cinematography and just the way the show looks in general. I hope that it does, and I'm excited to see the next episode and see where this season goes and talk about it when I can with you, Tony.
Yeah, that's it. And when you're a member now, you get the exclusive emojis and all that good stuff. So it's always worth being a member and everything else and all that. Yeah, but it's just so much going on in this damn show. So much going on. It's nerve-wracking. It is. Like I can watch it right now, and I'll pick up on something I didn't pick up on.
Yeah, you'll get a completely different look. Jesse says not one award. Sharita says just Rita says, yeah, gifting is a great way of finding lurkers. Absolutely. So you guys can spy. Show me your members. Hey, Carl, this is a family show.
Yeah, Carl Snark.
Look at you. Snarky.
It's a Shogun, but Shogun is another show coming out too.
Yeah, Shogun? Yeah, Joe and I, it was very rarely does Joe come to me and go, we got to cover a show, but he was into the original series and read the book. So we're going to be talking about that. Maybe we can have you on to chat about that as well. And tonight, actually, I got to run in about 5 to 10 minutes to go get ready to watch The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne tonight, first episode, and then come back out here at around 10:30 with Joe to talk about that. So it's gonna be a fun night. A far less complex show. I get to talk. I gonna watch after this.
No doubt about it. And again, I don't mind anyone who's out here lurking. Thank you for just giving the views and keeping the channel going. Because maybe so many people never watch the show, but you want to just support the channel, so you want to have some of that. 100% appreciate it. 100% appreciate and everything else. So thanks for showing the download. We've been here for a long time. We're approaching 80,000 subsubscribers. I know
you're very close. Very
close to 8,000. I'm only 20,000 away from the dream. I think we're gonna get those 20,000 by From. I think we'll get it during From, but maybe House of the Dragon we'll get that 20,000 and stuff. So
let's keep pushing.
And we're gonna get that. We're gonna hit that 100,000. We're gonna hit it. We're gonna get that plaque. That plaque is coming home, baby. It's coming home. Or if ever was here, it's gonna be here soon now. Anything else about this show that you would like to discuss, Phil, before we get up out of here? Anyone has a call, 518-290-0848. Any other questions about the show? Does anybody have?
I almost don't want to confuse myself more. I'm in a pretty good place right now. Any other discussions? But basically, how do you think we're going to get some big, giant cliffhanger at the end of the season, or at what point is the shit going to hit the fan and everything is going to start to become more obvious and there's going to be some antagonistic kind of approach or is this just going to be, are they going to kind of hang this mystery over for through this whole season?
I think that I read a commenter who watched the whole season.
Okay.
Yep. Like someone from like a newspaper who got the whole season.
Yep.
And they said that it gives you the answers you're looking for and sets up a lot more for season 2.
Okay.
So that's exactly what they said. Because they said that they thought it was only going to be a 1 season thing and be done. But he said after watching it and getting to that final episode, he said it gives you all the answers you're looking for, but it sets up so much for season 2.
Do we know how many episodes total?
I would figure it's 10.
Gotta hope, but these seasons are doing these 6-episode seasons.
But they released 3 at one shot.
That's true. That's true. So it's probably a 10.
How do you feel about that? Do you think that's a good thing? Release the first 3 episodes, then go week to week after that?
I think 1 or 2. I mean, I think it's an interesting approach in the sense of if you get into the series, you got a bunch of episodes to watch. But if you're trying to get new people into something, sometimes 1 episode is easier to digest.
This needed 3, I think.
I think
because if you would have got, you wouldn't have been able to follow, I think, with just the one episode.
No, and sometimes one episodes when they try too much exposition and just to try to dump everything feel rushed and cramped. Spoiler alert, I've already watched the Rick Grimes episode, and that's a problem in this first episode. Good stuff going on, but there's a lot of exposition rushed in. But I think I agree. I think this show would be better with more space. I do like the format of a couple of episodes dropping and then dropping a whole season. It's especially just it gives that binge feeling as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do the beginning and then kind
satisfy the binge watchers somewhat and get you going. I just want to know, did Joe's husband, did Joe really love her husband? Yeah, Joe 1 does. She definitely does. I mean, when she came back, she was grabbing. All she was saying was, I love you. I love you both. I love you both so much. That's all she wanted to do, was get home to a family. That Joe 2, whatever happened between them was done with them.
Right. I'm sure Joe 2 loved him at a certain point in time, but something went right when it should have gone left. And because think about relationships just in general, whether something survives or doesn't survive is sometimes a very small little turn in the path. And if you just change the world a little bit, like you wore red instead of blue or something, the whole relationship could get screwed up for whatever reason.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So yeah, Joe 1 definitely loved her husband. I mean, they show it. Like when they make sure you see that when they show her house in the beginning, and you see the pictures of the loving family and they're all there. And then when you see Joe 1 in the wheelchair and she's in Joe's 2 world, the daughter stops and looks at the reflection and says, look, all of us together, when they look at the shadow. So she's implying that all of them being together has not been that way for a long time, like the daughter had to mention it at that time.
I believe that experience being out there made her realize she loved her husband. Adora says it literally wouldn't let me type until I wasn't being a creep. Well, welcome to the discussion. Welcome not being a creep.
Who is this, Adora? It's a new person, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think Adora is new. What's going on, Adora? Thank you for rocking. We truly appreciate it. We'll be here every week. And we're doing the From. We gotta go back to the From during the weekday. Maybe Wednesday. Is Wednesday a good day for you?
Hit or miss depending on the week, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we gotta get back to the From. We're gonna do the From recap. We're on episode 3.
3, yeah, we've done the first.
Episode 3.
Did we do 2 or did we do 3 so far? We've done 2 so far, right?
Oh, she said she's from the From crew.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so we'll be doing the From rewatch. We're doing a rewatch review, going through them. We did the first 2 episodes. We're on episode 3 now, season 1, and we'll be doing that until it starts. So we'll be doing that once a week. Wednesday, Thursday, be one of those days.
Yeah, we'll get back to Kenny. Kenny needs us.
Yeah, definitely, whatever, definitely. Luna says, Tony, did you notice any physical difference in the 2 tie sounds?
Tie sounds. Yeah.
2 tie sounds, like the picture on the wall.
Time sounds, she says.
Time? Oh, time. The 2 time sounds.
I knew there was a typo there. I just wasn't sure what it was.
Like the pictures on the wall. They didn't show Joe 2's house. Right. And so I noticed that like the first house, when you see all the loving family pictures in Joe 1's house, looks like a tree house to me.
Mm-hmm.
That house reminds me of. But I didn't catch that other pictures on the wall and stuff. I'll have to go take a look and see. See, I would say I could watch that show again, all 3 episodes, and I'll pick up on something new that I missed.
Especially once you watch episode 4, it might make you want to go back and watch the other 3 again.
Look at that. All my Kai says, thanks for the EP breakdown explanation. I was so confused, so I saw your video. Well, I hope it helped you.
And thank you for showing us that cute kitty. Look at that kitty.
Exactly. Listen, I put that second video out there today. Well, today or yesterday, I think it was yesterday. I dropped it.
Yes, sir.
I dropped the video just to try to explain exactly what I think is going on, and I think I'm right. But if go check that video out, and I'll leave that should help people.
I think it's Joe 1 at the cabin, right, Jesse?
In the beginning,
yeah, I think
that is Joe 1.
Yeah, I believe
Joe 1 is the main Joe.
She's the main character.
That's the main one. The one who's with her family. The one who had the affair, Joe 2, is the secondary one. and Joe 1 gets thrown into Joe 2's world.
Yep.
We haven't seen Joe 2 in Joe 1's world yet. They haven't showed that one yet. They haven't showed that Joe. Now, that may be this episode. They may go through that this episode. But they haven't showed that Joe 2 in the Joe 1's world, which you'll know it's that one because when she's in that world, she's probably going to be trying to, like, get off me. Will you touch? Her husband is probably going to be like, oh, I miss you, and try to touch her. She's like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you left me, or we broke up a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. That shit is over. What are you trying to touch me for? And then she's going to go to the other guy with the curly hair. He's going to be like, what are you doing? Well, why are you trying to touch me for? It'll be that situation when you see that with Joe too.
I want to go in an alternate dimension right now, Tony.
I would love to be in an alternate dimension. I would love to be in an alternate. It depends. Because you can wind up.
Like we could end up in the Back to the Future fifth timeline of some sort. We don't end up in that timeline.
Something like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But the Joe in the cabin is Joe 1, and I believe she's used that device to pull her daughter Alice 1 in the world with her. But when the device goes off again, that's when Alice 1 gets switched with Alice 2. At that time, Luna says the picture in the house was a picture of a wounded angel. In the cabin was a picture of a smiling devil. It appears to be the same picture. It appeared to be the same picture, but obviously different beings. Oh, I gotta take a look.
It's a different world.
In the house or the cabin? I
believe in the cabin.
In the cabin. So the picture in the house was a picture of a wounded angel. In the cabin was a picture of a smiling devil. I gotta go back and take a look at that stuff.
Oh, I don't want to go watch The Walking Dead, but I'm gonna take off. Tony,
no, I'm gonna get done. We've been here an hour and a half. We'll try to keep them shorter and stuff like that. This is just so everyone keeps watching them over and over again. Hopefully, watch it again. I'm gonna go watch that. Yeah, go back and watch right now, Luna. Which episode was that in, Luna? Episode 1. We're gonna go back. I'm gonna go watch it right now. I got to get to bed. I got to go to the gym.
I felt so bad, Tony, that I didn't catch up in the episodes, and I'm afraid to start watching the Dynasty documentary. And you have to see on the recently played, and you're like, I don't want. You're not allowed to watch that, Phil, till you catch up on Constellation.
And when does Shogun come out tonight?
Tuesday, I believe.
Tuesday, Shogun. FX, right?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna take a look at that. We'll see. We can do everything else like that. All right, everybody, make sure if you watch The Walking Dead, you go to Phil the Issues Guy channel tonight. What time you gonna be streaming at?
About 10:30.
10:30 tonight. Phil the Issues Guys channel. Could everyone please put the link in the description if you don't know, so that way you get over there, subscribe to Phil the Issues Guys.
Tony, I like you, so I don't want to make you watch it, but you're always welcome to join if you want to.
Jen Hack says, see you later. She will be there from the land down under. She will be there watching that and everything else. And we'll be back next week. I'll be back a little earlier with the review on Wednesday and everything else. And and then we'll be another live stream next week. So if you like the way to do is please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.